And it's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's start with a musical flavour. And it seems that leftism destroys everything. Even the biggest superstars like Beyoncé and Katy Perry have become figures of ridicule in 2025. Let's start with Katy, who, fresh from pretending to be an astronaut, is now being mocked for her cringe performance in her latest concert tour. Did she leave any discernible talent she had in space? I mean, imagine paying good money to see this. Now, she never had much of a voice, but if that's how she dances nowadays, I think we can give the concert a miss. You can't auto-tune whatever that was. Now, I do wonder, where did it all go so wrong for Katy? Perhaps it was on election eve last November when she posted this.
Hi guys, I'm with one of my favorite senators. This is Kamala Harris. She's gonna be, well.
Or perhaps it all went pear-shaped when she posted this on election day. It's her and Orlando Bloom chumming it up with Kamala and Doug. Oh dear, now poor Katy is reduced to a punchline, and she's not alone. Pop stars don't come much bigger than Beyoncé. But then she went all Kamala on us. Remember that woeful speech she gave at a Kamala rally when people thought she was going to perform? They thought they were going to get a free concert. Instead, they heard Beyoncé mention a bunch of suburbs in Texas.
Texans and Houstonians from 3rd Ward, River Oaks, Sugar Land, 5th Ward, A-Leaf, Memorial, Southwest Side, North Side,
and now no one wants to go to her concerts. Daily Mail's headline reads, Beyoncé mercilessly mocked as tickets for flop Cowboy Carter tour reach the same price as a McDonald's meal. Yes, she's slashed ticket prices by more than 70% and still having trouble moving them. Now, to round up our little musical interlude, let's check in with these charmers. I played this clip for you when it happened. Here is Kneecap at Coachella singing Maggie is in a Box, a song about the late, great Margaret Thatcher. Well, they've gone from that degeneracy to this. Now Kneecap are openly praising the savage mass murdering terrorists of Hamas. Oh yes, you heard right. They just praise Hezbollah and Hamas. And they have the simpletons at a music festival cheering for the type of people who slaughtered youngsters just like them at the Nova Music Festival.
The Palestinians have nowhere to go. It's their fucking home, and they're bombing them from the skies. If you're not calling it a genocide, what the fuck are you calling it?
Now, if the left didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. And here is another prime example. This is Andrew Weissman claiming that Trump being targeted with bogus charges in a shocking case of lawfare, well, that was a great day for America because it proved no one is above the law. But when an activist judge breaks real laws, well, their arrest is a violation.
He is being treated no better or worse than anyone else. This is not selective prosecution, that this is not somebody who's singled out, that he is being treated just like anyone else. That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what the Justice Department is really signaling and messaging here, is that everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally in this country. This is really a great day for America. So there has been a violation here that we know for sure. and it is not the judge. Right, exactly. You don't do it. Even if you thought that there was a ground for doing this, the judgment call that you thought that this is the case to bring, it tells you everything. There is no adult in the room who would have said, are you kidding me? Why would you possibly do this? And the answer is because we want to send a signal to the judiciary. And that's what you shouldn't be doing.
And isn't it funny how the notion that nobody is above the law disappears when leftist activist judges break laws? And these are real laws, not trumped-up charges used to stop a political candidate from winning office. Remember when Russian collusion hoaxer Rachel Maddow was all about no individual being above the law? Wonder what's changed.
Nobody's above the law. We only have one system of law for everyone. Nothing about being an elected official gives you a license to commit crimes or a license to get away with it if you do. Why step up politically and defend a judge or a prosecutor? That's supposed to be a non-political part of our system. It's not like we didn't know it was going to be terrible. And it is terrible. He really did have a judge arrested today. Arresting a judge today. Are you kidding me?
And why was Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan arrested by the FBI? Now, this is the part of the story that Rachel Maddow failed to tell her audience. Let's hear from Attorney General Pam Bondi.
This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Joining me now is Newsweek's Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel Josh Hammer. Josh, the leftist media is actually pushing the narrative that these arrests are sinister, they're politically motivated. They seem to think that these leftist judges are above the law. They can obstruct justice, they can hide offenders.
Rita, you know, Rachel Maddow is one thing, but I mean, seriously, how many times for the past 2 years do we hear leftist media talking heads, leftist lawyers, Democratic senators, congressmen, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris? They all said this over and over and over again. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. Oh, wait, yeah, no one is above the law until it's a sympathetic Democrat judge trying to harbor an illegal alien's escape. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, literally, like, these people are just systemically incapable of anything remotely resembling intellectual consistency. I mean, it literally is what is good for the goose is apparently not good for the gander. Now, I happen to agree with Rachel Maddow in those first two clips. I agree that no one is above the law. I happen to disagree with her on what the law is as it applied to, for example, Donald Trump and these 4 prosecutions. But in this particular case, the case of this state judge in Wisconsin there, this is constitutional law 101 stuff, Rita. The Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution is very clear. Federal law is supreme over state law. If federal law says you're an illegal alien, you got to get out, and the state judge is trying to undermine that, that state judge has to be arrested. And thank God that's what happened.